the New York Knicks are sitting and waiting to find out their Eastern Conference Finals opponent, either the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Detroit Pistons, and waiting to find out the health status of one of their most important players. On Friday, at least one of those questions was answered in the best possible way. Hey, what's up everyone? Before we jump into everything today, that like button right there is what decides if this video hits hundreds or thousands of people. 1 second is all it takes, but the impact on this channel is massive. Go ahead and hit that like button right now. Seriously, it's the simplest thing you can do. And honestly, the best way to back this content up, because every single like pushes this further. So hit it now. OG Anunoby returned as a full participant in Knicks practice on Friday, May 15. Delivering a significant boost to the team's preparation heading into the next round of the 2026 NBA playoffs. Head coach Mike Brown confirmed the news to reporters, stating that Anunoby went through everything the team ran in that session, including scrimmage work. That update was reported by Stefan Bondy of the New York Post and immediately circulated throughout the basketball world. The timing of the news is critical. Anunoby had missed the final 2 games of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Philadelphia 76ers due to a hamstring strain, the type of soft tissue injury that can linger and cause setbacks without proper care and rest. The Knicks ultimately did not need him in those contests, sweeping Philadelphia in 4 games and advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals. But his availability for the next round is a completely different matter. Against a team like the Cavaliers or Pistons, every piece matters. Earlier in the week, there had already been positive signs on the injury front. Anunoby was reportedly getting up shots following Wednesday's practice session, which generated measured optimism but left plenty of uncertainty. Full participation in a scrimmage setting is a meaningfully different benchmark, one that suggests the 28-year-old wing is not just going through the motions but is genuinely ready to compete. Knicks fans were briefly put on edge Friday morning when a photo of Anunoby at practice, dressed in street clothes rather than a team uniform, surfaced on social media. That image sparked renewed concern about his availability, making Brown's subsequent confirmation of full participation all the more welcome. The relief was palpable across the fanbase. Those fans have every reason to value Anunoby's health. Before going down with the hamstring issue in Game 2 of the Philadelphia series, the Canadian wing had been one of the strongest performers in the entire playoffs. He entered the break averaging 21.4 points per game on a remarkable 61.9% shooting from the field and 53.8% from three-point range. He was also contributing on the boards at a high level, pulling down 7.5 rebounds per game. His offensive rating during this postseason stood at an elite 153, while his defensive rating sat at 182. A pairing that illustrates how dominant he has been on both ends of the floor whenever he has been healthy and active. Those numbers tell the story of a player operating at an extremely high level. Anunoby is not simply a two-way contributor. He is a player capable of swinging a series single-handedly, both as a scorer and as a lockdown defender. That value becomes even more apparent in a conference finals setting, where every opponent presents elite offensive firepower. With Anunoby now apparently set to return, head coach Mike Brown will also face decisions about his bench rotation. During Anunoby's absence, guard Deuce McBride stepped up significantly, delivering a 25-point performance in Game 4 against the Sixers that captured the attention of the basketball world. McBride's showing was impressive enough that Brown will not want to simply erase him from the rotation. If McBride can continue to produce off the bench in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Knicks will have a dangerous weapon in reserve on top of a now healthy starting group. The defensive matchup questions will matter greatly heading into the next round. If the Cavaliers advance, Anunoby is likely to see time guarding Evan Mobley, one of the most versatile big men in the league. If the Pistons move on, Tobias Harris becomes the primary assignment. Both present different challenges in terms of size, athleticism, and shot creation tendencies. But Anunoby, when fully healthy, is one of the few defenders in the NBA capable of matching up competitively with either. The Knicks are in an excellent position heading into the Eastern Conference Finals. They swept a capable Philadelphia team without their best two-way weapon. Now, with Anunoby seemingly back at full strength, New York enters the next round with its full roster available and momentum firmly on its side. For a team with genuine championship aspirations, the news from Friday's practice session could not have arrived at a better moment. The wait continues for an opponent, but at least the Knicks know their most versatile defender will be ready when that opponent finally steps forward. It is worth emphasizing just how rare a player Anunoby is at this stage of his career. The combination of elite three-point shooting, high-volume scoring efficiency, and the ability to guard multiple positions at a high level places him in a very select group. The Knicks built their identity around perimeter defense and shot creation, and Anunoby sits at the center of both pillars. His return is not just good news. It is potentially the difference between a deep playoff run and an early exit. New York's path to the NBA Finals runs directly through his health, and right now, that path looks clear. While the Knicks wait for their Eastern Conference Finals opponent to be determined and their roster gets healthy, the organization is simultaneously looking at a summer that will bring significant roster decisions. One of the most pressing questions involves Landry Shamet, a veteran guard who spent 2 seasons in New York and is now heading toward unrestricted free agency, and whose recent run of strong play may have complicated the Knicks' ability to bring him back. Shamet, 29, has been a reliable presence in Mike Brown's rotation throughout the 2025-26 season. The 6'5" wing point 3 points per game during the regular season on shooting splits of 30-92, 7-11 across roughly 23 minutes of action per night. He also averaged 0.6 steals, providing defensive energy that earned him a role in critical late-game situations. Brown trusted him enough to deploy him in end-of-game lineups, particularly when Michael Bridges needed rest. That level of trust speaks to how Shamet was viewed within the organization heading into the postseason, but the early stages of the playoffs told a very different story. Through the first 2 rounds, against the Atlanta Hawks and for most of the Philadelphia 76ers series, Shamet was virtually invisible as a contributor. Over those first 8 playoff games, he averaged just 1.8 points on 27.8% shooting from the field and an even worse 28.6% from 3-point range. He was frequently relegated to garbage time minutes, a clear signal that he had fallen out of the coaching staff's rotation and lost the trust he had built over the regular season. Then, in games 3 and 4 against the Sixers, everything shifted. With OG Anunoby sidelined due to a hamstring strain, Shamet was given expanded opportunities and took full advantage. He posted a postseason high 15 points in Game 3, playing over 26 minutes off the bench and contributing energy that went beyond the stat line, including 2 offensive rebounds that highlighted his physical effort. He followed that up with 12 points in Game 4, connecting on 4 of 6 3-point attempts for a 66.7% clip from deep. For a player who had been written off as a playoff liability just days earlier, the turnaround was as sudden as it was dramatic. The irony is that this resurgence may ultimately hurt the Knicks' chances of retaining him. Before those 2 standout games, Shamet's poor playoff showing might have given New York some leverage in re-signing negotiations. A player who struggled under the brightest lights is easier to lock up at a team-friendly rate. Now that he has reminded the league what he is capable of, other franchises will take notice when free agency opens, which is scheduled for June 30. The financial picture makes things even more complicated. Shamet was earning just over $3 million this season, an extraordinarily team-friendly number for a player with his skill set and experience. At nearly 30 years old, he will likely be motivated to secure the largest possible contract this summer, and his recent postseason performances give him genuine bargaining power. According to Spotrac, the Knicks are already projected to be more than $93.7 million over the 2026-27 salary cap, ranking among the worst situations in the entire NBA in terms of cap flexibility. They also have only $3.5 million remaining in first apron space, severely limiting the exceptions and salary aggregation tools available to them. That financial reality makes it very difficult for the Knicks to compete with other organizations that have more cap room and are looking for proven wing depth. Unless Shamet is willing to take another below-market deal out of loyalty or a desire to chase a championship with a contender, the math may simply not work in New York's favor. There is a certain cruel irony to this situation for Knicks fans. Shamet's playoff struggles could have been the factor that kept him affordable and brought him back to Madison Square Garden. Instead, he chose the most important moment to rediscover his best form, and now the market will have its say. If his production continues at a high level through the Eastern Conference Finals, every good performance becomes another data point other teams will use to justify offering him more money than New York can realistically match. The Knicks will have to weigh whether Shamet's value, particularly as a spot-up shooter and defensive connector, is worth stretching their already tight financial situation. If the answer is no, they will need to find that production elsewhere, either through free agency or the upcoming draft. Either way, the story of Landry Shamet's 2026 playoff arc has become one of the most compelling subplots surrounding this Knicks team heading into the offseason. What makes the situation especially difficult to forecast is how much Shamet's final evaluation depends on what happens next. If he continues producing in the Eastern Conference Finals, his market value will only climb. If he returns to his earlier postseason form, sporadic and drifting out of the rotation, New York may land in a stronger negotiating position. Every game from this point forward doubles as both a playoff performance and an audition for his next deal. The Eastern Conference Finals will serve as his ultimate resume, and New York's front office faces a genuinely difficult call either way. The New York Knicks may still be fully focused on their playoff run, but the organization is simultaneously laying the groundwork for what could be a pivotal summer. This week, the team's pre-draft preparation took a significant step forward when Duke wing Isaiah Evans confirmed that he has already met with the franchise ahead of the 2026 NBA draft, a development that signals genuine interest from both sides. Evans, speaking to reporters on Wednesday, told the Charlotte Observer's Rod Boone that he is fully committed to remaining in the draft and has no plans to return to Duke for another college season. The 20-year-old also revealed that the Knicks were among 4 teams he had already spoken with, alongside the Washington Wizards, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Dallas Mavericks. That list of suitors alone tells you something meaningful about Evans standing in the draft landscape. Until now, most of the Knicks' pre-draft workouts had involved prospects expected to land in the second round or potentially go undrafted. Evans breaks that trend entirely. He is a legitimate first-round talent, and the Knicks hold the 24th overall pick in the upcoming draft. A selection that could realistically be used on him if he is still available when New York is on the clock. That makes this meeting far more consequential than the typical pre-draft session with a long-shot prospect. So who exactly is Isaiah Evans, and why should Knicks fans be paying attention? The short answer is that he is the kind of wing player that modern NBA teams can never have enough of. At 6'6", Evans has the size and athleticism to defend multiple positions at the next level while also offering legitimate offensive upside. He earned a third-team All-ACC selection during his sophomore season at Duke, and his statistical profile shows real growth compared to his freshman year. He averaged 15.0 points, 3.2 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.7 steals, and 0.7 blocks per game this past season, shooting 43.3% from the field and 36.1% from beyond the arc. That three-point number may look modest in isolation, but evaluators often look to free throw shooting as a stronger predictor of a player's long-term potential as a perimeter shooter. Evans connected at 86% from the charity stripe during his college career, which is an encouraging sign that his three-point percentage could improve significantly with professional development and better shot selection. His IQ, off-ball movement, and defensive instincts are all regarded as strengths. The areas that need work, adding strength and becoming a more consistent rebounder, are the types of things that can be addressed through an NBA training program. The timing of the Knicks' interest is not accidental. Heading into the offseason, New York is facing real uncertainty in its wing rotation. Landry Shamet is set to become an unrestricted free agent when the negotiation window opens on June 30, and veteran shooting guard Jordan Clarkson is in the same position. Neither player is guaranteed to return, and the Knicks' difficult cap situation, they are projected to be more than $93 million over the 2026-27 salary cap, limits their ability to simply spend their way to solutions in free agency. Drafting a promising wing like Evans at 24th overall would provide cost-controlled depth for years to come, exactly the kind of roster construction that teams with limited cap flexibility depend on. The path to drafting Evans is not entirely clear, however. The Atlanta Hawks hold the 23rd pick, one spot ahead of New York, and they are among the teams that have already shown interest in Evans. If Atlanta decides to take him there, the Knicks would be watching helplessly from one position back. That scenario is real enough that New York may need to consider whether moving up is a viable option if Evans is the clear target. The Mavericks, interestingly, do not hold a first-round pick, so their meeting with Evans may be more exploratory or with an eye toward a potential second-round value. The Wizards, meanwhile, will be drafting much earlier in the lottery and are unlikely to select Evans, making them less of a direct threat at 24. Post-draft projections already have Evans landing with the Knicks in recent mock drafts, reflecting the growing consensus that he fits what New York needs. Pairing him with an established core that already includes OG Anunoby and Michael Bridges on the wing gives him the best possible environment to develop without being asked to do too much too soon. If Evans can contribute meaningful minutes off the bench in his rookie season and grow into a starter over time, the Knicks would have addressed a significant roster need efficiently and affordably. His pre-draft meeting with New York may prove to be the first step in a long partnership. Draft night is still weeks away, and plenty can change between now and then. Other prospects could emerge as stronger fits. Evans' stock could shift based on additional workouts. Trades could scramble the entire board. But for now, the Knicks have identified a player who matches their positional needs, fits their playing style, and has already shown enough at the college level to warrant genuine first-round consideration. The meeting happened. The interest is real, and if the stars align on draft night, Isaiah Evans could be walking across the Madison Square Garden stage in a Knicks hat sooner than many expected.